to boost recruitment efforts to combat employee shortages, as well as disrupting the drug markets in much of the city, or parts of the city, rather. Joining us now to further discuss this is San Francisco Police Chief Bill Scott. Chief, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me,
All right,
Andre.
appreciate it. So we've had a rash of shootings in the city recently, so I wanted to start off with that. We had the Mission shooting that happened Friday, Balboa Park, Saturday, Pasita Park, Monday. What can you tell us specifically about the Mission district shooting? Because that one, 9 people were wounded.
Yes, well, first of all, it was a horrific shooting, and my heart goes out to all the people that were involved in that incident and the people that had to see it. We're making really good progress, and I know there's been a lot of stories about this shooting and people that may or may not be involved. At this point, I can't confirm it, but what I can confirm is that
You're talking about the reports of a person of interest in this case that you were looking for.
Exactly, exactly. And I can't confirm that, but what I can say is that we're making some really good progress in that case. And also, I have all the confidence in the world in our investigators.
Right. Let's talk a little bit about just the shootings in general. Yesterday, we also had a shooting at or near the Powell Street station. Someone died in that one. Did you guys arrest anyone? Because much information was released about what happened there.
No, not yet. Nobody's in custody yet. But again, I have the highest confidence in our homicide units. They have a clearance rate of over 90% for the year. And so our folks they go out and they get it done, they do the work, so I'm confident that they'll bring that case to resolution.
And I also like to say is if you're a resident of the city and you're seeing these shootings happening around you, you're worried about it. The one at Balboa Park happened, people had to duck for cover there. Is this something residents should worry about, specifically the Powell Street BART station area shooting, the one at Balboa Park? Is this something residents should be overly concerned about, overly heightened about?
Yeah, they were isolated, and that probably does not bring comfort to people because they're still very disconcerting. People, anytime you see gun violence of that nature, it is troubling. But they are isolated. We don't believe any of them are connected. And I know our folks are working really hard. Our team is working really hard to solve these shootings. The thing is, always you got to be vigilant when you're out in public. Keep your eyes and ears open. And if you see something suspicious, particularly somebody carrying guns in public spaces, call the police. Call 911.
When you say isolated, it means these were situations in which two people were targeting each other, not necessarily a broader.
Correct.
The broader public in general.
Correct. They were all basically self-contained, independent incidents.
Right, in a way, of course, without, separate from the people being hurt. Let's talk about the Intoxication Detention Program now. That's an initiative where you arrest and detain drug users that appear to be under the influence at the time. How's that program going? How many people have you arrested under this program?
Well, actually, it's going well. We are, the police department has dedicated a team of officers to do only that work. And we're very thankful for the resources that the governor brought in with the California Highway Patrol, the National Guard, because part of what they are bringing us is additional training. We have a young patrol force. So we've arrested, those officers have arrested, as of yesterday, 41 people. But here's the statistic that may not be surprising to some. Very few of those people are from the city of San Francisco. I think only, as of yesterday, 3 or 4 are from the city of San Francisco.
So are you saying they were just in here in the city to maybe get drugs and use them here and just were hanging out here?
I think people come here because of the availability of drugs, and when people come here and they have the ability to openly use drugs, it's an easy environment. So that's what we have to change. So we have to change that environment.
Is the perception that you all are going to give with this program, do not come here to buy and use your drugs? Is that what you're hoping? Is that what you're putting out right now?
It's accountability and it's consequences. Yes, we don't want people coming to our city to buy drugs. We don't want people in our city to be on the streets buying and using drugs. So there has to be some accountability to that. And we have to get back to just the basics of arresting people. I want to be clear that I'm not saying that the arrest is the solution to addiction and those types of issues.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that specifically because that's in and of itself, arresting, user can be controversial. It's a controversial topic to begin with. But do you worry about whether this could backfire in terms of targeting certain groups of people? We've seen that, and it's just been a matter of fact in policing throughout the years. You know that probably as a young man growing up. I know that.
Right? Yeah, and we're focused on behavior, and you'd be surprised at the variety of people that come to our streets to use drugs in public, and that is a problem that we have to correct. And the arrests. not everybody is in favor of that type of strategy, but I will say this. Some people, when they get arrested, when they're able to be off the streets long enough to detox,
Right.
they get help, and they get help when they're in custody, and they are offered help when they're out of custody. So that's always going to be a piece of what this city does, our city does. But we have to hold people accountable for those actions, because if you've seen it, it's very disturbing.
Yeah, I have seen it. I've walked out of a restaurant just a couple months ago and saw it right there. I've seen what it looks like, and it's it's uncomfortable. I understand these people are dealing with certain issues, but do you worry about this program unfairly targeting certain people though, or is it something you're paying attention to?
It is definitely something we're paying attention to. And no, I don't. The demographics are actually the highest percentage of people that have been arrested so far have been whites. It's like 60-something%, and that's not because they're white.
Sure.
It's because that's who's out on the streets using.
Gotcha.
So we have to focus on behavior and not, it really isn't about what race, what gender, ethnicity. It's not about any of that. It's about, if you are openly using drugs on the streets, ingesting drugs in the street, or you're so intoxicated that you are a danger to yourself or a public safety risk, we have to address that issue. We have to do more of it. The police department plays a huge role in that. And we should not back away and be ashamed to say that it's not okay for you to do that. And if you come to our city to do that, you will get arrested. We can't arrest everybody at one time, so we're being thoughtful and methodical about how we do this.
Let's talk about staffing, because finally, one report I read said your staff is short by approximately 25%. Is that number accurate?
Yes, that's accurate.
And how's the recruitment efforts going to get new officers on the force?
Well, thankfully, the recruitment efforts are going well. Our recruitment is really about the numbers, because a certain percentage of applicants will get through the process, and that percentage has been fairly consistent over many years. Yeah. So we know that we have to get our applicant pool up in order to get more people in the academy. This year, our applicant pool is significantly up. As of the second week in May, we had a little over 1,200 applications. All of 2022, we had 1,700. So we're going to far exceed where we were in 2022, and that's good news, because that means more people in the academy.
So you feel like this year you're going to make a dent in that number?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
San Francisco Police Chief Bill Scott, there's plenty more to talk about, but we've run out of time, so thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good one.